So the next,
أكثر من 5.
now I need to run the one-way repeated measures.
تخبط زي اللي في زي
Repeated measures one way and over, right? So, and this is proc, GLM, correct? Data equal let. Model. So what is the model? All the variables, I have to list them, which is from, yes. So week 0, week 1, week 4, week 6, equal, nothing, right? Then repeat it. How I measure them in weeks. So I'm gonna put week. And how many measure I have?
4.
4. So I put 4. And then option print.
E.
Print E. Run. So this is how you do repeated measure. How we do repeat measures and over, right? Good. So now, once you do that, we need to interpret the finding. Please. The one sample. And why one sample? We included only the time. We did not include any treatment effect. So this is how we get our result would be. Yes, so you get many tables. Ignore all those tables because this is a univariate output. Look at the end, maybe where the looking for simplicity test. Are we getting different test scores?
لا مظبوط.
So your B values look different than
Me?
a B value.
The same.
Okay.
But I put treatment.
Okay.
Always the B value the same?
Not always. But likely significance, if one of them significant, the other one would be significant too. So octagonal would be the best one to use. So according to this,
Not the simplicity.
yes,
We use the greenhouse.
yeah. So some of you still typing the coding.
Lecture?
Yes.
Why you put the repeated week for?
We have 4 weeks.
Remember weeks, this is how it's measured. I say if it's measured in a months, the period, then I put months. And how many months? If it's 5 months, then I put 5. If it's 6 months, then I put 6.
This is fine, yes.
Yeah, if it's 2, then put 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the thing I wrote. Not there is no variable exist called week. There is week 0, week 1, week 4.
Thank you.
0, I did week 1. Week 1, week 4, week 6 equal nothing. Then separate this week and then separate the 4. Yes, should be space. Why do we think this? Because it's how we measure it. We use week. And how many? How many here we put? 4. So now
That's where is the sphericity table?
you have to go down, maybe. Go down.
Okay.
What do you call? Maybe. So you need to say print E in option slash. Look at this slash, right? If you don't put the slash, what's gonna happen? It's not gonna give you the test that you looking for. Timing? Yes. This is very important.
It will be the same, but without specificity.
If you don't put the slash, what's it gonna give you?
Without the specificity.
Yes, it's not gonna put the specificity because consider this not an option. So now, if you put this, that's gonna give you the test. If you don't put it, then just give you the univariate. Okay. Yes. Orthogonal. Castanhas. So now, you all done. We can go through it now. So this is what I mentioned. All these are univariate. You just pass them. Okay. Go until you see simplicity test. So looking at this here from the orthogonal result, seem to be significance. I wanted to know what the significant mean in my situation here. So I'm testing the null hypothesis says simplicity assumed.
Homogeneous.
The alternative says simplicity is not assumed. So now here we're going to what? To reject the simplicity, which is the null hypothesis, and then we say simplicity is not assumed. That means the variance, covariance are not equal over time. This clear to you?
سؤال عن الفورمات.
Yes.
الحين لما طلعت الريزلت ما بتغير عندي صح؟ لأن أنا جربت بس ما شكله يعني أسوي حسب قبل لا أطلع الريزلت.
الفورمات ممكن تسأليها، ممكن من هنا تعدليها.
أنا جربت أسوي زي كذا بس ما ضبط معي. يعني
You have to run it one more time. أرجع مرة أخرى وأعيد
يعني قبل لا أسوي رن.
لا once عملي أول شيء الفورمات اضبطيها، مثلا اختاري references result and then change it to حاجة you like. Yeah, and then okay, and then redo the analysis again. It should open to you. Yeah.
What is style equal to this?
Yeah. There's interpretations of what? Of simplicity. Yes. Now we checked the simplicity. We found that it's not assumed. Correct. What that means? It means the variance covariance are not equal over time. The variance covariance not equal over time.
Clear.
Yes. So what's next?
We will take greenhouse.
Yes. Next I have two solutions. Is there multivariate, which is this is a multivariate we're talking about, which is not yet given to you, but it is symbol. It's here. This is a multivariate Manova test criteria. The multivariate has 4 different tests also. The most important test is Wilks lambda. But just this is to know, we're not covering this yet. We're moving from the multivariate.
Univariate.
Look at the last one, the univariate. The finding of overall univariate. And this now should give us some value of greenhouse Kaiser, which is looking at the last table. It gives you the value. This is not the b-value. So don't confuse between the value of greenhouse Kaiser and the b-value. So the last table just give you the value, which is just like a chi-square value, or a t-test value, or f value. Now the b-value, which is for greenhouse Kaiser, is the one in the middle here,
GG.
which is say adjusted for degrees of freedom, the GG. This is the greenhouse Kaiser.
GG, this is the p-value.
Yes.
Why we use univariate?
Yeah, you can straight go to the univariate. Since separate is not assumed, then you need to use this the greenhouse Kaiser, which is this is the value of it. How they adjust the b at the hypothesis, and then you're going to report this b value.
Why we call it univariate analysis?
Why they call it?
Univariate analysis, as far as the number mean, average, median, and what's
Yeah, and I understand for that. Even in this, they call it the univariate because you have you could have a multiple sample still, but the way they calculate it, they use ANOVA test for it. So you have ANOVA just like one-way ANOVA, right? So still call it the univariate approach. I'm not sure if they have other, you know.
ممكن أقول أنا مثلا unidirectional analysis. Okay, I have one direction for analysis.
Yeah.
هي repeated test over time or whatever. لكن univariate, it's mean head to head or two things mean,
Yeah.
average, something one reading.
Yeah,
Greenhouse indicate the variation among the weeks. The greenhouse الvalue حق
Yeah.
indicate what؟ هل الفاريشن عشان لما نسوي له ريبورتنج ولا justification انه ترى الفاريشن among weeks and drug A or B it's 7.77 and compared to other study. I'm talking about resulting or what?
The greenhouse Kaiser? The greenhouse Kaiser is just instead of you reporting the b value of ANOVA, now we're going to adjust the b value of ANOVA. We're going to adjust for degrees of freedom. We're going to give you something else to be used because
Just
ANOVA is violated.
Doesn't mean anything. If you don't have this,
Yes,
take this.
because remember ANOVA violated here.
Yes.
He's saying that you cannot use ANOVA, which is the assumption of simplicity assumed. You cannot use that.
Yes.
So now they give you something alternative, which is the
Manova.
greenhouse Kaiser that adjusted for degrees of freedom and solve the issue that you're facing regarding degrees of freedom.
So when I'm reporting, it's there is a significant
Yes.
difference among this medication over weeks, and the p value is 0.001.
The b value is this.
0.001.
Yes. But remember, this is not medication yet.
Oh,
This is a one sample, remember?
Lead level يعني.
lead level now.
Lead level over time,
Observation.
over the 4 period time.
Oh.
Yeah. So what? How you conclude that?
So there
There is a differences of lead level over
time.
the 4 period of time.
Yes. And
Yes,
this
this is
differences, I don't know how much is it, but it's significant
Yes, this is significant.
until now.
Until now, yes.
Can we repeat the difference?
Yes, there is a differences of lead level over the 4 period time that we assessed, for example. Right. And you can mention now the B value we used for greenhouse Kaiser.
Just mention.
Yes. See that? So this is important. Why we choose greenhouse? This is important. You need to know. Because of what?
Variance and covariance not equal.
Reciprocity not assumed. Yes. Covariance not. Covariance not.
اختبار variance covariance not equal.
Yes. So this is the major limitations of ANOVA. So now we did not report the result of ANOVA. Why? Because of
Assumption.
the assumption that limit ANOVA. Okay. So this is one. Now we go to multivariate approach. In multivariate approach, what do you think we need to add? Just treatment, yes. Instead of equal nothing, equal treatment. Everything the same. Mhm. Yes, thank you. Class treatment. Right?
The same.
It's the same.
But now
Insignificant.
adding interaction. Before we have only weak, right? Look at the interaction between treatment and
لو حطيت انا كلاس فوق لان انا سويته بالغلط بالكلاس بس ايكوال ما حطيت تريتمنت اعطتني نفس الريزلت حقه.
yes, but you didn't include in the model, it did not include treatment, so it's not going to be considered.
Okay, good.
Even if you put it in a class,
Mhm.
so it's not going to change the result because you did not. Once you put it in the model,
It's gonna change.
then it's shaking.
I put no.
Yeah.
It's the same. You are right.
Right?
نفس الجداول يعني مثلا.
هذه نقطة هي. But interaction.
Doctor,
Yes.
give me an error. A model statement must be
Yes.
given. Right.
model equal treatment
Also
model
class
0 1 2 3 treatment فيها خطأ شوية treatment في النهاية
T, yes.
and then also yeah try this again
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So now how finding yes. Okay, so now this is a two sample, right? If I'm going back to my 4 point, I'm interested in interaction there. Before I have one factor, which is a time only, so there is no interaction. But now I'm adding the treatment, so it's supposed to be I'm interested to test differences in treatment over time. Mainly I'm looking for this. And this is the most important in my hypothesis or any research that's looking for prospective evaluation, especially giving a treatment, they're interested in the effect of treatment over time. And this comes through interaction effect. So now I'm adding the treatment, just like this. So this is the hypothesis, and what this saying now here?
0.
D equal, which is interaction equal to 0. That means there is no interaction. That means the effect of treatment over time is nothing, is 0. Or there is no effect of treatment over time. And the alternative says what? There is an effect of treatment over time. Simple. Okay? So now how we do that? We already mentioned that here, right there. We already tested this, right? So now the finding next. Again, I have to assess what? The severity, right? I wanted to determine whether I'm going to report the repeated measures ANOVA, or the Manova, which is multivariate, or the greenhouse. Okay? So looking at this, it means that I'm going to reject the result of repeated measures ANOVA, which is assumed simplicity. Okay? This is one. Next, I have to determine which one. Using this table, which is a multivariate. Later I'm going to explain this, what that means, which is simple. I can cover that now. There is 4 tests that used for multivariate. They all significance for this. Looking here now, the last one, I'm interested in what? Look at this. I'm not interested in week only, because this is not the one sample. I'm interested in something involved treatment. And if I say week times what? Treatment, this is the effect of what? The treatment over time. Remember in weeks, how many weeks we have? 4, right? So now this hypothesis, this is the most important hypothesis. So if I'm going to look at the p-value, I'm going to look at the p-value of this first. So what this saying now? What is the hypothesis here? Yes, the effect of treatment over time. When I say over time, representing what? The week.
Weeks.
Now, looking at the F value, I must explain this. The F value, the one here, this is the severity assumed. The first one, the first V value. This is when severity assumed. So that means you fail to reject the severity. You're going to report these. This one, severity not assumed, both of these. And we're saying we always use the greenhouse case here. So, but which one to report? One for week, the other one for week, and times. So I must report, this is the p-value I must report. Okay? And now what is saying?
The significant
The significance. But what else?
difference in treatment.
Difference in treatment
Over time.
over the 4-week period, or how many, 6-week period, if you want to be specific.
Okay. And B value equal.
And the p-value of greenhouse case are equal 0.0001.
There is significant.
There is significant difference between treatment on lead over the 6-week period. Yes.
Can you repeat?
There is significant difference between treatment. Remember the treatment is 2, A and B, placebo and active treatment, over the 6-week period. The p-value for greenhouse case is 0.0001. And for p-value, anything we say less than means what? Just for standard reporting, you say 0.001. You don't say less than 0.001.
001.
Yeah, just 0.00001. Is it gonna less than anything less than 0.00001? You just make it 0.001.
1%. ثلاثة.
ثلاثة ثلاثة ألف. Three decimals would be enough.
نروح المنوب.
Yes, so now this is the
والكود إنه كيف نحول التيبل
من لونج
yes, the coding, how we change this now